Welcome to Bay Sunday. Good morning, everyone. I'm Roberta Gonzales, in for Kenny Choi. It seems like bullying is always in the headlines. It doesn't just affect kids on the schoolyard. It happens with adults in politics, on social media, and in the workplace. Here to talk more about bullying is author Andrew Faas. His book, From Bully to Bullseye, Move Your Organization Out of the Line of Fire. Andrew, thank you so much for being here with us. I want to ask you, first of all, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I offer a pretty unique perspective in so much that I was called out for being a bully when I was 26. And it was the best lesson of my life. And it taught me that respect is a far more powerful motivator than fear. And that's the way I worked pretty much throughout my career in creating psychologically safe, healthy, fair, and productive workplaces. But at the end of my career, I was called, or I was a whistleblower and on a corrupt executive, and I went through an 18-month period where I was bullied. And it was extreme bullying.
So it started off with you being the person who was bullying other people.
Yes.
And then through experience, you were able to reverse that, be a whistleblower, call out other people, but then you were bullied.
And I was bullied for blowing the whistle on a corrupt executive.
What a circle there.
And I had a very good background in terms of how to deal with it, but even I had difficulty in terms of coping with it and resolving it. I resolved it, but I still had a lot of negative energy after it was all over.
I think a lot of the times of bullying in schoolyards, but now most recently you hear about cases in social media. I had never thought about bullying in the workplace. What are some of the signs?
Well, if you look at schools, it's very overt and physical, verbal, and now cyberbullying, and it's right out there. In the workplace, it's far more subtle and far more complex. And it's usually about somebody threatening another person's power and control, and or inherent bias, where the bully targets the individual and makes their life miserable to the point that they either get fired or quit.
And so we're not talking about a one-time only offense. We're talking about repeatedly acting out and demonstrating these fears on people?
It's continuous. It's not a one-time incident. It's not a management style or approach. So you could have a manager blow up at somebody, but that does not necessarily constitute bullying. And it's an emotional reaction. But if it's with the intent to harm the individual, then it becomes bullying. And yes, it is multifaceted.
What can employees do if they feel that their particular workplace is unhealthy? I know what we can do here at CBS. We go through the training online every 4 months about harassment or security issues, you know, how to handle yourself on the internet as well. But so I pretty much know what to do. I go to my HR right away.
Yes.
So what does the average person do?
Well, you're lucky that you can go to HR because in 80% of the cases, the HR is part of the problem versus part of the solution. And we saw that recently with Uber, where a person claimed sexual harassment, went to HR, and HR said, no, this is a star employee that we're talking about, and there's nothing you can do about it. So again, you're very lucky to have in place a mechanism by which you can go. My advice to people is to go to somebody they can trust. If it's not HR and if it's not somebody internal, then go to talk to somebody that can relate to it, and you can strategize in terms of how to handle it.
So are you referring to perhaps a lawyer?
Not in the first instance, because
a psychologist?
Well, if it's affecting your health, including your mental health, yes, then definitely seek professional help.
So we're talking right now perhaps about words, bad words or behavior towards another individual, but we also have in there the sexual implications also, where sometimes people are sexually harassed
Yes.
at the workplace.
Yes.
Yeah, what you do in that matter. We see some cases like that going on right now with big-time jewelers. Hundreds of employees have now come forward and say that they were sexually harassed.
And perhaps the most high-profile one was Fox News.
Yes,
and
right.
with Roger Ailes, and it was an open secret for years. And it had a culture where people with power and control could do almost anything, including sexually harass people in the organization.
Author Andrew Faas, From Bully to Bullseye, Move Your Organization Out of the Line of Fire. Not only a great read for a person who perhaps feels like they've been bullied, but a great read for employers as well.
Absolutely.
Wonderful life lessons in here, and I thank you so much for being a part of our show today. We want you to be sure to be able to pick up this book. You can do so. We have that information coming up for you, but we'll be back with some help for moms-to-be and dads too when Bay Sunday returns after this brief timeout.